Hi, I'm Donna with Simple Retirement Journey, and it is the end of August 2025, and I am going to talk about my budget today. And I've done a couple videos about living on mostly Social Security, so I am updating for the month of August. And I have a spreadsheet I use every month, and I snipped the page, and I'm going to try to insert the page while I'm talking when I'm editing the video. I haven't figured out yet how to have a picture in a picture. You know, a lot of times you see the big screen and you see the person's face in the bottom corner and you can see them talking, and I haven't learned how to do that yet. There's a lot to videotaping, and every month I learn something new. So next month is going to be how to do two things at once. The first thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to grab my glasses real quick, is I went online for my county to find out how much the average income for one person was, and the latest data was for 2022, and the average income was $37,429. And and then and that was annually, and then the average income for one person is $3,119.08. And my income, I have Social Security plus I get a small pension. And when I disclose my income, it's my Social Security before they take out my monthly insurance, health insurance. So my monthly income is $1,891.58. So that is what I live on every month, which is a little over half of what the average income for one person in my county. And you know, when we talk about averages, one person can make $1 million and the next five can make, I don't know, $30,000, but the average is way higher because one person has skewed the number by earning so much money. So when we talk about somebody earning $3,100 a month, somebody could be bringing home, or their income could be $10,000 a month, and other people are barely scraping by on minimum wage. So an average is kind of a good number, but we have to realize that a lot of people earn way more and a lot of people earn way less to get to the average. Just thought I'd put that in there. And I'm gonna put my screenshot up here. I'm gonna talk while that is on the screen. And how I do my budget is, you know, so being on Social Security, you get paid once a month. You get one paycheck a month. Well, most of my costs, most of my bills are the first week of the month, and my Social Security comes after that. So I try to have at least $1,000 in my checking account at the end of the month, so I will be able to pay all my bills. And if you look at my snapshot, my projected costs every month for housing is $1,063.47. And also my auto insurance comes out the first week of the month. That's another $80. So I need to have about $1,100 in my bank account the first of the month. So I did not put this in for August. I took it out. I think when on my spreadsheet, there's at the top of the spreadsheet, it says projected monthly income. There's an income line, and then there's a second line, and that's where I input my checking account the beginning of the month. And I deleted that amount when I screenshot this. I think it was about $1,400. So that makes my monthly income look more because I've got the income plus the additional amount in my checking account. So it looks like I have $3,000 to spend every month, but I really don't. It's a carryover from the prior month. So on my spreadsheet, I do break down. I have a mortgage. My home is almost paid for. I owe about $31,000 on it. And my mortgage cost is $455 a month, which isn't bad. And then my escrow, which includes your tax and property insurance. Let me start over. Your escrow includes your property tax bills and your homeowner's insurance. And that is included in my mortgage bill for the month. And it is now $298.56. So I am paying about $750 a month. It just went up in August. And my property tax jumped 15% for 2025. So I filed a senior exemption for 2026. And I don't know how much of a rebate I will get for being over 65 and filing this. And I hope it goes down a little bit because my mortgage went up about $40 a month due to the escrow account. And what I had been doing before, I was paying a little extra on my mortgage every month to pay off my home faster. But with an increase of $40, that's kind of tight on my little budget. And let's see, I'll scroll down a little bit here. I got my, it's not under, hang on here. Oh, my phone internet bill. I got the email the other day, and my phone internet bill is going up $15 a month. So I looked into it, and the bill is going up $5 a month for internet. And then I receive a $10 loyalty discount every year. And when it ends, of course, it automatically goes up. And you have to call and beg and plead to get your bill lowered. And I'm kind of tired of this. I will be calling today or Monday. And I've run this gamut before. They can't change the current bill, but I'll get a rebate the following bill. So I know how that story's going to go, but it kind of annoys me that I've been a loyal customer of theirs. I've had the same phone number for 35 years, so I think I'm a loyal customer. And actually, I don't have a landline anymore. I got rid of the landline in 2015, but my bill still says phone internet. And that's that story. I've debated looking around for another internet provider, and I'll probably run into the same situation. They'll say, well, we'll give you a discount for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll jack up your prices again. And I've been happy with my service. I have high-speed internet, and I hear other YouTube channels that live out in rural areas, and it takes 2 hours to upload their video to put onto YouTube. It takes me 5 minutes. So I guess I have pretty good internet, and I don't really want to change it. So looking down at my spreadsheet here, I'm looking on my computer, but it'll be on your screen. Oh, fun money. If we go to the top of the second column where it says entertainment, I have a projected cost of $20 a month. In this month, I bought a couple things on Amazon, and I decided that was considered entertainment. One of them was a 18-month planner that I like to get. And I could usually find it at Walmart, but I couldn't find it at Walmart this year. So I had to order it online. and I bought a book or something. I don't remember what I bought now. So I spent a little extra on entertainment this month. Let me scroll down here a little bit more. Under sinking funds, I debated leaving this in. I give to my church charity, and I've been pretty guilty about this, is with savings and giving. I tend to, well, if I've got enough money at the end of the month, then I will give. And that is a bad way to think about things. So I started this month, they take it out of my checking account once a month. And I thought I won't miss it. But you know what? I kind of do. So, giving is a bit of a sacrifice, and it should hurt a little bit, and it kind of does. And for my non-Christian friends, when, we should give to anything that benefits another person, whether it's a church or an organization or whatever. When I was in college and taking accounting classes, they talked about CPAs, and I'm not a CPA, but the advice is good. And a CPA is a respected businessman in the community, and their philosophy was that CPAs should give to charities of their choice. And I think that's a good idea. It is a bit of a sacrifice, and it teaches us to be caring of others. I've never really given a lot to the church, but I do give to other things. I know there's a natural disaster around the country, I will donate some money to that. And I've had a couple friends over the years who've had cancer, and I give them money to help them get through that. So there are many, many different ways to give to charity. So giving to the church is one option, and I don't give 10% to the same place, but I'm going to keep that private. That's just my thinking. I think it's important to give. In some ways, it makes us feel better because we're helping another person. So that's going to be my topic on charity and giving. And what else? Oh, I didn't put this in here. I've got a line that says cash at home. And when I was working my part-time job, I saved up $500, and I put the cash in a secret spot in my house. Well, unfortunately, I have been digging into it, and earlier this month I took a little road trip to the middle of Indiana, and I took out my last $50 bill, and I spent $40 and put $10 back. But this month I took out $50 and put it back into my emergency at home fund, and I'm going to try and do that for the next few months, because I think right now I have under $100, so it's going to take me a while to get back up to $500. And speaking of having an emergency fund at home, I'm getting older, and I've shown my 2 children where my emergency cash is. And I told them, I said, if I get sick or something, and I've got the cash hiding in the house, and you know where it is, so if you need to come and buy me groceries or whatever, just take the money. I'll understand. That's what it's there for. So I think, especially being a single person, it's a good idea to, if you don't have a child that lives nearby, a trusted friend, to show them where you kind of stash the cash a little bit in case of emergencies. I just think that's a good thing to do. But that's my story. And I added this month, I'm going to pop in another screenshot here. I haven't shown this before, but I have a little segment in my spreadsheet. Sorry about that. Slurring the S's this morning. I hate to bring this up. I have dry mouth, it's a medical condition, and sometimes the saliva and S's just don't work together very well. I probably told you more than you need to know. But anyways, I decided to include my savings and investments that I have, and you will quickly realize that I did not retire on $1 million or $500,000. I retired on not much dollars. And I hate to admit it, but I did. So starting at the top, I do have I call it a savings/sinking fund. And that's in my bank account. And I used to have $1,000 in there. And it's dropped a little bit. And since I've been retired, and I need to work harder on bringing that back up. And then the second one is called Savings to Emergency. And in July, I talked about budgeting my gas and electric bill every month. And I came up with a budget. I'm going to scroll to the top of the page here. My electric bill averages out to $53 a month, and my gas bill averages out to $63 a month. So in the summer, it's more the spring and the fall, my electric and gas bills are lower. So if I pay under the 53 and 63, then I throw that money into a sinking fund. And that way, when the winter hits and the gas bill is really high, I've got the money set aside and it's not quite a stress on me. I used to have a car savings account. And here's my little car. I saved up and cash flowed a car last year. So I had this on my kitchen counter. Okay, enough playing with the cars. But I used that car as a reminder that I was working towards paying off a car. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I had a 2002 Alero, and she was my rust bucket, but she did a good job for me, and I saved up and bought a used car, a new to me car. It's a 2019 Alero, and I'm hoping in my retirement years that I will never need to buy another car. It has about 50,000 miles on it, a little under 50,000. When I bought it, it had 46,000 miles. So with good care, it's a Toyota. That's part of my retirement income, if you want to call it that. And so anyways, I cleared out the savings account when I purchased my car. And that stays open in your bank account. It's just out there. I have 2 small 9-month CDs, and I probably will not cash those in unless I really have a dire emergency. And right now they're earning about 4.25%, which is pretty good. I have a high yield savings account. You'll see further on down on my list, it's called Citizens Access. And that's where I put most of my car savings money. And the Citizens Access, the interest rate when I opened it up, it was around 5% when the interest rates were higher. And now it's dropped to, I think it's right at 3% now. And I can earn more money putting my money into a 9-month CD than I can keeping it in an in a high yield savings account. So as far as the CDs go, if you cash them out early, you will lose some of the anticipated interest you earn. And I kind of like to keep it there because it's less temptation to pull the money out, but the money is there. You know, if I really, really need an extra $500, it's there. What else do I have? Oh, I have Treasury I bonds, which I haven't really talked about in the past. Treasury I bonds, I forget, it's about 3 years ago now. Treasury I bonds, their interest for 6 months was 9.6%, I believe. I could be a little bit off on that. And a Treasury I bond, you have to buy, I'm trying to think here. I think the minimum amount you can purchase is $50, and you cannot redeem the Treasury I bond for 1 year. And then if you redeem the Treasury I bond in year 1 through month 60, up to 5 years, you will lose 3 months interest on your Treasury I bond. So that my Treasury I bonds are truly emergency monies. I hope I don't have to use them. And the Treasury I bonds, the interest rate goes up and down. And I learned a lot about Treasury I bonds through a YouTube channel person. Her name is Diamond Nestegg, I believe. I will put that in the comments. I have learned a lot from her over the years. I didn't know anything about Treasury I bonds until, the interest rate skyrocketed on that, on what you could earn. And I thought, well, I need to learn more about these before I put money into it. So this is what I did. I found Diamond Nestegg, and I've learned a lot from her. And so I did invest some money into the Treasury I bonds. And one other thing while we're talking about money, as a single person, when you die, you need to have a beneficiary to access your money faster. And I don't know much about probate and stuff, but I have read over the years that when you have any type of investment, in fact, my checking account, I have my daughter signed. It's called payable on death, or POD. So whenever I die or become incapacitated, she has access to my banking accounts and my Treasury I bonds. I have 2 adult children, so I've split them 50-50 for each child. So that's something to think about. Whenever we die, we need to have our money designated to go to somebody else, because otherwise it'll take a long time and it will probably cost lawyer fees, and we don't want that to happen, do we? And the last thing on my savings or investments is RET, which is really my 401k. And as you can see, I did not invest a whole lot before I retired, and I've talked about my money story in the past. So if you want to go back and look, I will insert it somewhere, and you can listen to that. And my 401k this year, in this month alone, it's gone up $1,000. And when you go from $23,000 to $24,000, that's quite a jump. I actually called my advisor, and I asked him if it would be a good idea to take a little bit of this money out and put it into my high yield savings account, because I know when the stock market goes up, we all know it's going to go down, and I don't have much money there now, and I don't want to lose some of the interest that I've made. And he advised me not to do that. And I do know why. The reason I have RET, well, never mind the RET, but I know when I turn 73, I can do a required minimum distribution. So I was kind of asking him if I could do a quasi retirement minimum distribution this year, and he said no, it's wise to leave the money in the account right now, and that way it will grow exponentially with everything else. So that is my savings and my checking account for the month. And I do have at the bottom here what I owe on my home, and I haven't updated that number. I think it's right around $31,000 now. And I was paying a little bit extra every month on it. And I don't know if this is Dave Ramsey thinking or not. This is Donna thinking. My mortgage is way lower than what I would pay for rent anywhere. So in a way, it doesn't bother me that I have this payment. And honestly, being retired now, I don't have the funds to pay it off faster. And when I worked, I was throwing money at the mortgage to pay it down. And that was a good thing to do. But now that I'm retired, I just don't. I can't. And that's kind of the honest truth of living on a low income. I have the basics. I don't go to bed hungry at night. All my utility bills are paid. You know, I'm fortunate that I live in a lower cost of income area of the country, and I can provide for myself. I know I listen to other YouTube channel people, and they live in various parts of the country, and it's tough. So, I mean, you hear of people paying $2,000 a month for rent, and I couldn't afford that. That's more than I earn in a month, or more income than I have in a month. So I understand it's tough out there. And one other point I wanted to add about saving for retirement is my home is almost paid for. And I think if I sold it today, I would probably get around $250,000 for it. And my thought when I was still working was, when I got older, like in my 80s, I want to stay here as long as I can. But when I reached the point where, you know, I couldn't mow the yard anymore, and, you know, the upkeep of the home, that I would sell it. And then I would live in a senior retirement community, and, you know, the remainder of my days. And that seemed like a good plan 10 years ago. But as time goes by, the cost of senior retirement living has just gone up exponentially. It's awful. In our part of the world, we have, I call them the little yellow retirement homes. And it's a retirement community. You have like a 1,100 square foot apartment and a 1-car garage. And last I heard, that was like $900 a month. And that's for people that are still pretty mobile. And looking at that, I thought, wow, I'm going to stay in my house as long as I can. So if you're not retired yet, my advice would be, well, pay off your home or as fast as you can before you retire. And I purchased a good car before I retired, hoping I would never have to replace it. And save like crazy before you retire, because I'm finding out a few years into retirement, and I did work part-time for 4 years, but I've been fully retired now for about a year, a little over a year. I did not save enough money, so if I could talk to my younger self, I would say save more money. And I think if I could talk to my younger self, I was an accountant, but I worked for not-for-profit jobs. 2 of them were not-for-profit. And I didn't earn the average income in my area. I probably should have been more aggressive and found a better paying job in my occupation. That is one thing I would tell my younger self. I'm not the most assertive person in the world, and when I found a job that I was comfortable in, I just kind of learned to live within my means and didn't seek a higher paying job. But I guess that's a decision all of us have to make in our lives. And I hope this little bit of information at the end gives people some food for thought. If you're still not retired, is to either find ways to to earn more money, or pay off your debts as much as possible before you retire. So that is my budget update for August. And if you like what you saw, please click on the like button. And I love to hear comments from people, so I appreciate any comments. And also, if you like what you see, please subscribe. Subscribing to our channels helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything. Well, it does cost you one thing. If you click on the notification button, you will always see me. You won't miss any of my videos now. Can't get any better than that, right? So, thanks for listening, and I hope you learned a little bit from my monthly budget, and maybe this will encourage you a little bit to sit down and look at your budget a little bit if you don't regularly do that. And I'm thinking of doing this in future months, is coming up with a generic spreadsheet. Yeah, sorry, I heard a click. And that is a work in progress for me. So thanks again for listening, and I do appreciate everyone that invests their time into watching me, because time is precious. Take care, everybody. Bye.